My name is Olivia, and for a decade, my life with James had been the comforting rhythm of two hearts beating in sync. We had built a life filled with shared memories, inside jokes, and the boundless joy that is our daughter Chloe. James, with his steady job in finance, provided a sense of security, while my online jewelry business offered a creative outlet and the flexibility to be present for Chloe's school plays and doctor's appointments. Yet, in the past year, a subtle discord had crept into our symphony. James, always a man of routine, became increasingly absorbed in his work. Late nights at the office transformed from occasional necessities to regular occurrences. Our once lively dinner conversations dwindled to brief exchanges about Chloe's day, followed by James's tired retreat to his laptop. I found myself missing the easy banter, the shared laughter, the feeling of truly being seen and understood by him. Sometimes, as we lay in bed, the silence between us felt heavier than the comfortable quiet of years past. It was during this period of quiet disconnection that I rediscovered my passion for vintage books. I joined an online forum, a vibrant community of fellow bibliophiles, and found solace in discussing beloved stories and rare finds. Amidst the virtual bookshelves and literary debates, I connected with a user named Daniel, screen name BookLover22. Our private messages became a haven. We shared not just our love for literature, but also snippets of our daily lives, our frustrations at work, and the small joys that punctuated our days. Daniel had a remarkable ability to listen, even through text, offering insightful perspectives and a gentle humor that often made me smile even on my toughest days. Our online friendship deepened gradually, like the slow unfurling of a cherished manuscript. We talked about our childhoods, our aspirations, and the quiet anxieties that often went unspoken in our real lives. I found myself sharing with Daniel thoughts and feelings that I hesitated to voice to James, things that felt too vulnerable or too trivial for his increasingly preoccupied mind. A subtle emotional intimacy blossomed between us, a connection that filled the void left by James's growing distance. I started looking forward to Daniel's messages with a flutter of anticipation, a feeling I hadn't experienced in my marriage for quite some time. There were moments when his words resonated so deeply that I felt a pang of something akin to longing, a yearning for a connection that existed only in the digital realm. Meanwhile, James's behavior became more and more perplexing. He'd clutch his phone protectively, turning the screen away if I so much as glanced in his direction. His work laptop, once a tool confined to the dining table, became a constant companion, perched on his lap, even during family movie nights. If I asked about his long hours or his seemingly constant focus on work, he'd offer vague reassurances about an important project nearing completion, but his eyes would dart away, and his answers felt rehearsed. There was a night I walked into his home office unexpectedly, and he slammed his laptop shut with a speed that made my heart jump. When I asked what he was working on, he simply said it was confidential client information, but his defensiveness felt unwarranted and unsettling. One afternoon, while tidying up James's side of the bed, I noticed a small unfamiliar notebook tucked under his pillow. Curiosity piqued, I opened it. It was filled with handwritten notes, not about work, but about running. Detailed training schedules, race times, and reflections on his progress. James had never shown any interest in running before. When I casually asked him about it later that evening, he seemed flustered, quickly dismissing it as a new fitness kick he was trying out, something he hadn't gotten around to mentioning. His evasiveness only fueled my growing suspicion that he was keeping something significant from me. The truth, when it finally surfaced, felt both shocking and strangely inevitable. It was a typical Saturday morning. James had gone for a rare early morning run, further solidifying my suspicions, and I was looking for a recipe on his laptop. That's when I stumbled upon the folder labeled New Opportunities. The emails within detailed not just a job offer, but a complete career transition into a different field, in a city hundreds of miles away. The offer had been accepted, and the relocation was scheduled for the following month. I sank onto the chair, the breath knocked out of me. 10 years of marriage, of building a life together, and he had made a decision that would fundamentally alter our family's future without so much as a conversation. The weight of his secrecy felt crushing. When James got back from his run, his face was red. I showed him the emails I had printed, and he couldn't hide his act anymore. At first, he tried to explain what he did, saying he wanted to surprise me with the great chance. But after all the months of lies, his words didn't sound true. The argument that ensued was raw and painful, a torrent of hurt, anger, and disbelief. I accused him of not trusting me, of making unilateral decisions that disregarded our shared life. Then he accused me of being distant and not caring about his job. In that moment, because I was so frustrated and confused about Daniel, I said quickly, my voice shaky because I was about to cry, "If you had been more present and talked to me, I wouldn't have looked for someone else to talk to." My words just stayed there in the air, and even though I didn't say it perfectly, it showed a lot about how I was feeling. James's reaction was a mixture of shock and hurt. The focus of the argument shifted, and he demanded to know more about this someone else. I hesitated. I felt guilty, but at the same time I had a strange feeling that I was right. I admitted to my online friendship with Daniel, carefully omitting the depth of my emotional attachment, but the seed of doubt and suspicion had been planted. The following weeks were a strained and silent affair. We moved through the motions of our daily lives, but a thick wall of unspoken hurt and resentment separated us. We both felt betrayed and hurt by each other's secrets. Finally, we decided to get help from a professional because we knew we couldn't deal with these complicated lies and misunderstandings on our own. Our first therapy meetings were stressful and full of emotions. We sat far apart on the couch in the therapist's room. Our bodies showed how much distance had grown between us. We told our sides of the story. Our voices shook because we were angry and sad. James said that wanting to succeed at work had made him not see what I needed emotionally. He thought he was doing what was best for our family by getting a better job, even though it meant moving us without asking me. Then it was my turn. I had to face the truth about my feelings for Daniel. I admitted that Daniel had made me feel connected when I needed it, but in the end, he just took my mind off the real problems in my marriage. The therapist helped us do some hard activities to learn how to talk better. We learned how to really listen to each other and how to say what we needed and felt without getting angry. We started to talk about all the things we had been angry about and the things we had hoped for but didn't get over the years. These things had led us to this bad place. Little by little, carefully, we started to fix things. James really tried to be home more. He joined in when we did things as a family and had real talks with me. He told me when he was worried about work and when good things happened. This made me feel like I was really part of his work life. Then it was my turn. I started talking to Daniel less and less online until we eventually stopped talking. It was hard. There were times I missed talking to Daniel. I realized that even though talking to him online felt good sometimes, it wasn't the same as really working on my marriage. One night, after a therapy meeting where we both cried and told each other our deepest fears, James surprised me. He had planned a weekend trip to a nice small cabin in the mountains. It was a place where we could get away from our busy lives and just focus on each other. During that weekend, with beautiful nature all around us, we talked for many hours. We shared what we hoped for in the future, what we were sorry about from the past, and how much we wanted our marriage to work. We still have a long way to go. We still sometimes feel unsure and have doubts. These remind us of how much we hurt each other. But we both really want to talk openly and honestly, to take care of our relationship, and to build a future where we trust and respect each other. The secrets we hid almost broke our marriage. But by talking about them and admitting our mistakes and what we needed, we found a way to heal and love each other more truly. Now our home feels safe again. It's filled with the comforting feeling of two people who are learning to be together again, not perfectly, but understanding each other and feeling hopeful. If you liked this story, please subscribe, leave a comment, share it with others, and give it a like, as more emotional and inspiring stories are coming.